Welcome all the traditionalists. Welcome all those, the warrior priesthood, all those who within the tradition. We salute you because when we salute you, we give ourselves eternal life as well. So we say, Abaru, Boye, Bobo, Awo, Abaru, Boye, Bobo, Awo. Eyamboru, Boye, Koyankuo. Abaru, Boye, Bobo, Awo. So we salute everyone, all the traditionalists, we salute all those Orisha practitioners, all those traditionalists, all those who tune in because we salute because that is something that we welcome them long life and greetings. And it is our J also who we greet first. It is our J we greet early in the morning. It is our J we greet even before we salute Ifa, we salute Ajay. Ajay Karo, Ajay Olokun, the young elders. The young become elders through Ajay, and the elders become like youngsters through the spirit of Ajay. Many people have wealth, but they don't have Ajay. You know, a clear signal as we see those people who have wealth and not Ajay, when they start conflict, start confusion, never satisfied. It just shows that they don't have that abundant mindset. They have that liking mindset. And so our J we salute upon rising. Is our J we salute as we wake. It is our J we salute at daybreak. So we salute you, our J. The first thing is our J who give the finest things. It is our J who give us, who allow us to in dwell in that midst of prosperity. Our J, let us have you in our hands. Do not let us have you around our necks. Let us not have you as a burden. Our J, make our home in the midst of prosperity and make our surroundings the culture of abundance. So we salute everyone. I say, because it's our J, we have wakeness and goodness today. As you know, so the title of the message that we want to share is the sound of E-Ray. In the Odu that I'm speaking from, I want to speak about the story that I do is Ogbè-Sàá. And the Odu's in the story in the Odu, it starts off by saying, let's us wake up with bracelets around our wrists and ankles. Let us walk with bracelets around our wrists and ankles. It says the way someone walk with bracelets, this is the way bracelets will cling together. So this Odu speaks about how a great destiny makes a big sound. It doesn't make a big noise, but it makes a big sound. You know, just like how we speak about celebrating Ifa and Ifa to the world. As we celebrate Ifa, it should be a big sound. You know, when we manifest and move towards our highest destiny, it shall be something that people notice because it shall be something that resonates, that the world hear. This what we call the sound of E-Ray. The story in Ogbo in Ogbè-Sàá, it speaks about multiple stories intertwined. And it starts off with Afija-gberu, who say he was a very, very competent Babalawo. They said that when it came to skill, he was considered second to none. When it comes to the business of Ifa, when it comes to having that longevity, you know, they said that his predictions was always accurate. But when it came to him receiving abundance, are standing in the midst of prosperity, it said he had nothing to show for it. They saying that he was liking in that department. So even though his readings was on point, even though he was very skilled in all the Ifa verses, they saying that he was still liking because he was liking because when people was come to receive a reading and it was getting the ebo, it was always difficult for them to recommend. It was always difficult for them to come up with the money to the recommended Igbo. So they would come, he would tell them, and everything that he told them would come to pass. But they was unable to cough up the money or whatever it took for them to complete their boat. So they'll always fall into that negative situation. So it was because of this. Afija-Beru, they say he remained unaccomplished. He remained poor, but he had a head full of knowledge. So one day he decided to get an Ifa consultation, and when he get to the Ifa consultation, he go to get an Ifa consultation, and the Babalawo will tell him that don't worry about it. Everything will come to you. He's saying your wealth will come, just remain focused. And he said, don't think small. He said, just don't think small. Just don't let what you do not have at the moment reflect your way of thinking. So sooner or later, he did the prescribed bowl. So right afterwards, he was invited to perform a Ifa consultation for the Oba of Opa Town, which was the king of Opa Town. His name was Alapa. So usually, when we going do consultations or doing spiritual work, and you going to someone in the royal house, you know that these people are more than capable of doing what it takes to get those spiritual needs done. So he says, as he was going for his journey, you know, he went to got a reading before he went on his journey. Again, he went to got consultation, and the owl told him, "Don't worry, all your predictions will come to pass." He said his name will become known throughout the whole region. Everyone would know you because of your work. So he told him some things that he needed to do. He mentioned, okay, you need pigeons, guinea fowls, roosters, but the biggest thing, don't think small. He complied with all the ebo, and then he continued to go to the Oba or Opa town. So when he arrived, they say he arrived early in the morning. So when he go into the palace, at first they opened the door, they didn't really know who he was because, he wasn't running on four cylinders. He wasn't that oppressive looking at the time because he had everything in his head, but he didn't have the necessary wherewithal to, present himself very well. But after they got confirmation, they let him in. And they said that he was given the mat to sit on. And then he immediately, time when they got in, he began to do consultation for the Oba and Apa town. So this is Alapa. So when he doing the divination for him, he told them, this is the day of the consultation that you're receiving will be a day of great success for you. He said, the ebo that you must do it this very day. He said, you cannot wait. any longer, but you must do this ebo right now. He said it cannot be postponed. And guess what? Hey, he's seeing the Oba, right? Alapa. He tell him, okay, it's a very large ebo. And when we talking about very large, it's very large in all standards. He say you have to do 200 of different animals. And it's like 5 different things you have to do ebo with. I think he told him 200 rats, 200 fish, 200 hens, 200 pigeons, 200 guinea fowls, 200 roosters, 200 bags filled with money. He said, you must do all of this. And you cannot wait. You must postpone. You cannot postpone it. You must do it now. So before he can even go to the 200 bags full of money, uh, the Oba Apa town, the Alapa, he responded, I don't have no money to offer at Bo. I don't even know what my household, I don't even know how I'm going to feed my kids this morning. I don't even know how my kids. So, automatically he began in speaking from like a scarcity standpoint, like a standpoint from like, hey, I don't have it and I don't know where I'm going to get it. But we understand that Afija-gberu just told him that the day is your day, the day of consultation is your day that you will receive much success. He forgot that already. But listen, before the Oba of Apa Town could finish, Apa, before he could finish, before Alapa could even finish what he was saying, Afija Baru, he got up, he walked towards him, and he began slapping him. Bam, bam, backhanded him. He punched him, threw him on the ground. Alapa, the Oba Alpa, what has I did wrong? What did I do? Because he don't know. Why'd you beat me? Because I don't have what it takes? Ifaja Baru, he did not respond. He kept hitting him. He kept punching him. And eventually Oba ran away. But guess what? Ifaja Baru, he followed him. One of the things that we just see that he slapped and beat him, and it wasn't necessarily because he didn't have no money. I think it was because he was still moving. He couldn't move beyond the impoverished mindset to even hear the sounds of Ere. So the Oba, he running. Ifaja Beru, he following him. He following him now. This is the Babalawo. He following the Oba because he just got finished punching him and beating him because he said that, hey, I don't have what it takes. I don't have what it takes to do what you want me to do. We hear that all the time. People say, well, I don't have what it takes to do initiations. I don't have the money. That costs too much. I don't have this. That's one of the things that we began saying that, hey, if you don't have it, then I guess you're not worth it, right? Because you don't see what it can bring to you. So when Alapa, he running, he catching up with him. So he about to beat him again. So what he do, he run into the chief house, the family head, and he's seeking the chief protection because the chief, they got the street boys, they got the hood boys behind them. So the chief, which they call the ballet, he asks Olapa, the Baba, he asks Olapa, the Oba town. He say, what have you done to deserve this? He see his lips busted, he see his eyes swollen, he been slapped up. He explained to him that I cannot afford what he asking me to do, the elbow he recommended. I can't afford it. And he just started beating me. So the chief, He called some of his boys. Now they want to jump on Afija-gberu. The chief became angry. He said, how is you going to just beat this man for failing to offer the ebo? He don't have it. Afija-gberu, the Babalawo, he looked at Bale and told him to stop interfering in someone else's matter. He's saying, hey, mind your own business, right? Stop interfering. He then said, hey, look, you trying to cause problems with me, but you have your own hidden problems. Members, he told the members of your family, they are plotting on you to remove you from your chieftaincy. And you're not even dealing with that, but you worrying about him. So he said, instead of you judging someone else's situation, what's going on, because you're looking from the outside. For one thing, you silencing the noise of E-Ray, right? You silencing the sounds of E-Ray because you interfering in someone else's matter. You trying to judge someone else's situation. He said, so we understand that one of the hidden rules of power sometimes people interfere in another person's problems because they want relief from their own. So, and then I don't think it's saying that we don't have to help others. But one of the things that the story is saying is that we must not help others to avoid our problems. And sometimes when we try to correct someone else without avoiding our own correction that's needed, so it allows us to be useful, feel useful, but not be honest or not having that integrity. That reminds me one time when I was in like a sacred spot. We was in a shrine. We was having a meeting somewhere. And the brother came to talk to me about like P. Diddy. That's when the P. Diddy case was going on. And it kind of like annoyed me. And I kind of did like what the Babalawo Afija-gberu, like kind of smacked them around, but kind of smacked them around verbally. And I don't think he really liked it. But it was just like why are we worrying about someone else's business for? But he told him, he told the chief, focus on your issues and resolving them. And he instructed the chief to make Ebo, right? He just told him, get two he goats, two she goats, make Ebo. And guess what? Without hesitation, the Bale was shocked. And without it, because that was one of the biggest concerns in his life, that they was trying to overthrow him. But guess what? He quickly provided the Ebo materials. He quickly provided materials. He came up with them and assured him, the Babalawo assured him that, since you did what was told, now you recognize and understand what's going on. He said that you shall not be removed from your position. You shall remain on the throne. So now just the chief being in a position and being grateful and understanding this spiritual insight, the chief say, well, let me help Alapa by giving him some of the Ebo materials. As we know, remember, it was like 200 pigeons, 200 goats, 200 sheep, was just 200 bags of money. So he said, let me assist him by giving him some of the materials that he wanted. So he got some of the materials. He didn't get the whole thing. So now the Oba time, he got the materials. Alapa get the materials. And he go back to the Babalawo, Afija-gberu, and he begged them to accept this. Accept this. I give you some materials. I'm doing what I can. Help me out. The Babalawo, Afija, Beru. He refused, right? He refused it. And guess what he started doing? He refused it. And he began to slap him, punch him, and beat him. They say this time he began to hit him even harder, just because he wasn't able to come up with the ebo. But it really wasn't just because that, as we understand, the story and we get deeper into it. So now, Alapa, he run back into the chief house for protection. He's like, Chief, you gave me some things, but he still wouldn't accept that. The chief was sleeping at the time, so the chief wake up. He's still angry. The chief is angry now. And the chief is like, when he woke, the Babalawo Afija-gberu, he punched, he slapped the Oba of Aatan, Alapa. He's punching and slapping in front of the chief. The chief, like, he want to know, why has he done? Why are you still beating him? Did he give you something? And the ballet again became angry. He called his boys. He called his area boys. He had area boys around. He called his area boys. And he said, why are you slapping this man? Because he don't have the money to offer a bow. And he was angry. And guess what? Afija-gberu, he told ballet again to mind your own business. They got a thing out where they say people to, we say that, when people be talking to other people, they say mind your odu. That means like mind the things that, what's prescribed for your life. But it really goes even deeper than that when you think about it. Because what this particular verse in Ogbè-Sàá is saying that you need to mind your own taboos, because you ain't minding the things that meant to bring your downfall, but you minding other things. He say, mind your business, mind your taboo, and find a solution. This is what the Bible I was telling the chief again. And find a solution to your own problems instead of interfering in other people's issues. It's a common thing. This 2026. Everybody know everybody business. And now it's a cool thing to know everybody business, because this is 2026. Social media, it's a market. Hey, and it's one of the ways that we be helped by knowing other people business. Okay? He say using a harping about other people problems. Usually the people talking about other people problems also most likely have the biggest problems, right? They mostly have the biggest issues. So he telling the chief, listen, mind your own business. You got stuff you need to deal with. So then he told the chief, you remember now, this the same chief he ran to when he told him, listen, these people trying to take over. You need to mind your own business. This was the chief's biggest worry. So he said, okay, let me deal with this. I'll do that both. Now he tell the chief, listen, your wife cannot have children. And she blaming you for that. She blaming you because everything you do is you're drinking all the time with the boys. Look at your gut. He's saying he blaming you, but she is blaming you for not having any children. And instead of looking for a solution, she ain't trying to reason about it. He said, your wife ain't trying to reason about it. He said, she done seduced your oldest son, your firstborn, into having an affair with her. So you worrying about Alapa. You worrying about the Oba. You worrying about other people's children. But your children, You ain't worrying about them. Basically, that's what he's saying. And guess what? The chief couldn't say nothing, but his mouth open. Because guess what? The other night, this just was exposed. This just happened the night before, and they found it. So this was all along the reason for the mutiny in the first place, and the son was behind it. So he instructed him this time. First time he said two goats, two he goats, two she goats. This time he said, listen, bring me eight she goats, eight he goats, and 16 bags of money to resolve this matter. Pretty much, we have to do that boat. You ain't on your job. After that boat was offered, this time, he said everything gonna be cool again. The ballet, he assisted the Oba town, the Alapa. He said, here, let me give you some more materials so that can assist you in doing your ebo. Because you remember it started off with the Oba of Apa, which name is Alapa. He couldn't complete his big ebo, which was like 200 sheep, 200 goats, just a lot, 200 bags of money. He was saying, hey, I don't even know how I'm going to feed my kids, right? But we know that Ifá-Jà-Beru, the Babalawo, told him that, listen, this is the day that you would get many, much, 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 much blessings would come to you if you listen to Ifa and do this ebo. But he was like, I don't got it. So I'm thinking maybe he had some doubt or something because you can't come up with that. You're an Oba, you got a palace, you can't come up with that. Something wrong. So the chief who house he ran to for protection, the chief who was getting in his business but wasn't handling his own business. His wife was having an affair with his firstborn. He did his elbow. He was impressed by the Babalawo. He was impressed by Afija-gberu, so he told him, listen, okay, he gave Oba, he gave him some. The chief gave him some more materials to give to the Alapa. He gave him some more materials to give to the Babalawo. And so, as he go present the materials to him, the Babalawo like, listen, the Ebo cannot be reduced. What is prescribed must be given. So he beat him again. He started punching and slapping him. And he he ran. But this time he didn't run to the chief house no more. This time he ran to the Alafin Palace. He ran to the Oba. He ran to the Alafin Palace. And guess what? The Babalawo Ifá-Jà-Gberu was still following him. In this era, it's so easy for us. We live in 2026 where when people tell us some things, we like to color them. But sometimes people need to get interrupted when they trying to be cuddled with unwavering, and unshakable insurance, meaning that sometimes people just want you to listen to them. Where they tell you that, they don't got nothing. People want you to listen to them when they want to tell you about, what they going through, or they want to listen in ear. This 2026, a lot of things that wasn't acceptable one time is very, very, very acceptable now. You know, yeah, we can get into a whole different areas and different topics, but this old dude speaks about sometimes people need a sharp rebuke, especially when people is speaking from a petty mindset, especially when people begin to entertain other people's business, especially when people begin to put small caps on their head or limit themselves. Because usually when we start entertaining other people's business, we limit ourselves. Normally, when we begin to, you know, think small of ourselves, we show it. We show it in what we say and what we do. Oh, I don't have that. I can't afford that. And sometimes it's not even about the money, but it is about the view and it's about the potential. So the Oba Opa, he run to the Alafin Palace. So when he get to the Alafin Palace, we know, hey, the Babalawo Ipaja-gberu, he right behind him. He chasing him. So the Alafin, he asked the Oba Opa, what's going on? Why you running? Why your face all bloody? Why you bleeding? And he tells the Alafin the story. The Alafin called the gods. He angry. He called the gods to rest the Babalawo, Ifaja-gberu. But before the gods can even like get to him, the Babalawo Ifa Beju, he tell him, why is you interfering, intervening in this matter that do not concern you? Why you neglecting your own serious problem? This seems like this the trend, right? He said, why are you interfering in this man's business? You don't know what we have going on. You don't know what I'm doing, that this could be very, very important. But hey, this wasn't 2026, but he was doing what we do in 2026. All up in people's business, wearing small caps, limiting our destiny. So he said that, listen, the Bible I would tell Alafin, listen, your son has a very serious illness. He on his deathbed. Look how much he not eating. Look how much weight he lost. He have 3 days left to live. That's it. He told Alafin, you need to offer Ero right now yourself. 17 rams, 17 bags filled with money. If his son was to survive, you need to offer these things now. The Alafin couldn't say anything, but just have his mouth hanged open because it was like he told the guards, get out, leave, bring the Ero materials now. Because he know that his son was real sick. How did he know this? He was like, how did the Babalawo know this, right? What are you doing? So he did the Ero. The son coming to the room, walking like a miracle had happened. The sickness disappeared. He came in, he was hungry. He said, he wants something to eat. The king ordered for them to bring him 2 plates. 2 plates. He said he wanted goats, rice, catfish, everything. He said he ate it up all real quick, super quick. Alafin was excited, overjoyed, happy. They brought in the band. They started performing for the Babalawo. They said, your work is good. And so in gratitude, I'm going to assist Alapa, the Opa town. I will assist him in paying off the remaining of the Ero materials. It was a big one, big Ero. So Ifeanyi the Babalawo couldn't complain about that. Took the Ero materials, performed what needed to be performed. When he got done, he was like, he gave Alapa a flag. They said it was a big flag. They say the flag had red, black, green, and gold. Kind of similar to a warrior priesthood flag, right? So he gave him a flag. He said, take this flag and go to the seaside and put it in the ground. And he said, I want you to place a lot of bananas, fresh eggs at the foot of the flag. And he said, just stay a little close. He said, stay a little close and Olodumare will surprise you. He said, Olamara will surprise you. So take this flag, this warrior priesthood flag, sit it on the beach. Bam. He said, and look at it, observe it, put bananas, fresh eggs. That sound like what IJ like, right? Bananas, fresh eggs. He said, put this in a calabash at the foot of the flag, and Olodumare will surprise you. So the story speaks of Oyinsese, which was the daughter of Olokun. And it said that Onishishe, she was very, very, very sad because she couldn't have children. They said that she was depressing, that she was so depressing that she was making Olokun Seniade, Olokun sad because she couldn't have any kids. They said Oyinsese, Olokun daughter, was in numerous relationships, couldn't have any kids, and this was a big thing because Olokun had wanted to be a grandmother. So it said Olokun became angry with her, and she felt that Oyinsese had a lack of patience, lack of endurance, and this what made her incapable of having children. So, and outside of that, her being depressed, her daughter being depressed because she couldn't have any children, was affecting her ability to perform her duties. So she was like, the best thing is just to send her off, send her to a distance. Maybe these things will work themselves out. But for one thing, she would get some relief. So they say that she gave her many, many, many food, many clothes. They say they gave her like possessions that's for 7 generations. That's that daytime that would be like 200 or $300 million. Gave her so much stuff, this old coon. And she said, told her to move, leave, settle somewhere else because me looking at you, it caused me grief because you are grieving. So when you should shade the daughter, she left. She took all her possessions, enough for like 7 generations, a lot. And so they say she got along a big, 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 very large ship. And they say that she went, she ain't know where she was going. But while she was traveling, they say she stumbled upon the flag that Alapa, the Opa town, the one who again slapped and beat up until he did his ritual. And then boom, the Babalawo gave him the flag. He said she had seen this exact flag. And so they say the story speaks about a shoe appeared. Say he appeared out of nowhere. And he told Oyinsese that wherever the flag was located, there must be people living there. So he persuaded her to direct that ship towards that place. And that's a good place to settle. The thing about that shoe is, see, sometimes that shoe shows up as a thought, a concept that turns certain symbols, certain signs into movement. So that's that thought that was able to connect the pieces, and that was that shoe. So when she arrived, she seen that it was many bananas and fresh eggs at the foot of the flag. And as we know, it's in the family bloodline. Olokun, Aj, they love bananas. They love eggs. They said they was hungry. They ain't eat. Their food had spoiled on the boat. So they sat down. They ate the bananas and eggs. As Shu, he comes back again. This time he went to Alapa, the Opa town. And he told him, hey, they eat your food. Go over there now and ask for the payment for the eggs and bananas that you put down. There go Shu again. So sometimes a shoe may show up as sudden realization. Sometimes when you realize something, that could be a shoe, right? Go speak to this person. Follow the lead. As we know, a shoe can be that movement inside the mind, also that quick, the hurrying, the sudden. So when Loba Opatan, Alapa, he go to Oyinsese, he asked her for payment. What's going on? Hey, you eat my food, where's the money? She responded by saying that she ain't even gonna say nothing about no money. She said, bring me more eggs and bananas. She in the IJ family. That's what she want. Eggs and bananas because sweetness and fertility, abundance. So her Alapa, okay, cool. So you got it. So he went, brought her some more. Say her and everybody. They ate till they were satisfied. They talked. Her and Alapa talked. They got to know each other. He said eventually, they hooked up. They got married. That was the first person. He had a lot of bananas and eggs. They said they got married. She was attracted to him. They was in love, basically. And it says that Oyinsese, she gave him love and her possessions. That's how much she loved him. And they said Lapa gave her care, respect, and a place to stay. That's how the IJ. Sometimes we have to build that house for IJ, right? So they say the biggest thing about Oyinsese was because she was grieving because she couldn't have any greetings for like Kimmy, greetings. They say the biggest thing about Oyinsese was she couldn't have any kids. So this still was a topic for her. This still was a hot topic for her. But Alapa, Oba say, hey, don't worry about it. I got a Babalawo that can assist you. So he go get Ifaja-gberu, Ifaja-gberu can solve your problem. So Ifaja-gberu, he said, the Ebo is going to be big. It's going to be heavy. But if you do it, you will have multiple kids. When you should say, I don't mind doing it. I'm IJ, right? I related to IJ. I have it. My mindset is not limited. Even if I don't have it, I know I can receive it. Even if I lose it all, I know I have potential to get it again. That's what she told him. So he said, okay, 20 rats, 20 fish, 20 hens, just 20 she goats. It was just in the 20. They gave it all. Hmm. They say Oyinsese became pregnant and she had many children in quick recession. They say many children. They say after she had many children, Oyinsese, she wanted more. Say she invited the Babalawo Afija-gberu back again. This time, he recommended, okay, it's gonna be big. She said, I don't got no problem. It's gonna be 30 this, 30 that, 30 this. You know, rats, 30 rats for Ifa, 30 hens, fish, she goat. They comply. And they say when Sheshe gave birth to many more children. Many more children. Soon as she did. So they said she had twins, triplets, quadruplets, everything she wanted. They said she was deeply filled with joy and be proud as a mother. Sometimes the sound of Ere, it manifests in many ways. Motherhood, multiplication, fertility, children. The sound of Ere is rooted in Ere Bobo, which is all Ere, like all Ere. So the story goes on to say that Oyinsese, she had many children. And they go to say that she had a lady that was working for her, that which was her favorite, which was Osinsewa. Osinsewa. They say she was loyal, devoted, diligent, and it says that what she really wanted, her ambition, that she had wanted, the lady that was working for Oyinsese, Osinsewa, she had wanted a vibrant city of her own. She had wanted to establish a vibrant city where everyone can settle, regardless of their origin, regardless of how much money they had. She wanted a city to be open like a cosmopolitan. Because of this, she went to Ifa consultation to know how to make her dreams successful. Recap. Welcome to the Underground Spiritual Gang, episode 13. The sound of E-Ray. The sound of E-Ray. This Odu begins. It starts off. Let us wake up with braces around our wrists and ankles. Let us walk with braces around our wrists and ankles. The way someone with bracelets walk. This is the way bracelets cling together. This Odu is speaking about how when we move towards our highest destiny, it will make a sound of E-Ray that the world cannot deny. It will be loud. And then now we're talking about a story where the worker for Oyinsese, she had a dream and ambition to establish a vibrant city where everyone can settle, regardless of what their background. But she wanted a cosmopolitan city. One thing about this old dude speaks about, we have to take off our small caps. Always remember that. Sometimes your dream, your ambition can never be big enough. And that is a concept that we must maintain. And it speaks about how other people, ambitions that's be limited, or may not feel that they can do certain things, or may be worrying about other people's business. Sometimes you got to give them a sharp rebuke. You cannot color them. This 2026 where we cuddle a lot of things. They saying that sometimes you got to give these people sharp rebuke when they begin to warn about others. So the Babalawo, as we know, he told her that, hey, everything your dreams will come true. He said this would be a big Ebo again. He said you got to do 200 eggs, 200 parrot feathers in one container. She said, take this container, put all these eggs and these feathers in these containers, and he said, set them by the beach. So when she arrived, she placed the containers at the foot, they say, of a tree, a Edie tree. And then she hired a hunter named Oshunue to watch over the container because this is going to be a cosmopolitan. Watch over this container. They say after this, when she set this container there, people began to arrive far. They came from distances, and people came from the inner land too. They say they began to settle. And they say eventually they began to build buildings. They structured, they were forming governments. They said they started calling this place Ilueko, which stands for eggs and feathers, right? The land of legs and eggs and feathers. They say when Leke Leke, which was a scout, which was an administrator, he said he went into the inland because they built this house on the coast. He went into the inland to remote land and discovered that there was many people there. It said it was many people there suffering from eye problems. So he reported this to the hunter. Remember the hunter that was watching over the container at the time. He reported this to the hunter, Inshunu Ray, and the hunter told him, that's no problem. Take the leaves from the tree where you got the calabash. We're going to ground it. We're going to dry it. We're going to make it into powder. And then we're going to treat these people eye problems. Let's not remember we talking about the sounds of E-ray. And sometimes these eye problems can be small vision. Sometimes these eye problems can block our vision. Sometimes these eye problems can make us not mind our taboos and remind other people our taboos. He also said, take the root of the tree, of the Edi tree, and soak it in some water. He said, use it to wash their eye. So the hunter, Osunuwere, that's what he told Leke Leke. He had wanted to go to the hinterland. He went. Osunwe, the hunter, now he go into the remote part of the land where Leke Leke went to help the people. He went for Ifa consultation first, and guess what he advised him? He said, take all the small caps you have in your house. Take all the small caps you have and make a bow with them. Because you don't need these small caps. Your head is too big and you thinking too small. But guess what? Oshunue, he refused. He went away and began treating the people with their eye problems anyway. And they say that he was doing a pretty good job. But he refused to stop thinking small. He refused and still was limited his ori. So now when Lecky Lecky came back to the remote part, to the remote land to care for the people with eye problems, Lecky Lecky had performed all his prescribed at Bo. He gave away all his small caps, which Osunwe Ray the hunter did. He met Osunwe Ray. And Osunwe Ray had a small cap on his head too, right? He was still thinking small. And he demanded to see. He said he demanded to see his authorization. Like, where's your mandate? Huh? Do you have an authorization? Where's your authorization? Because Leke Leke was coming on a mandate that he had. And his biggest mandate came from Ifa. He said Osunwe Ray didn't have one. So Leke Leke chased him out the land. He said, you need to chase the hunter away. So what everything Eshunuwe Ray had became Leke Leke. They said after this, Osunu Ray became Ade Oloko, which we can just mean the crown of the small caps, the crown of small things, because he didn't want to give away the small caps. You know, these small caps that we talk about, it comes from limiting ourselves. How we limit ourselves by jumping to other people's business, worrying about other people, not feeling like what we have is important, by not minding our taboos, by limiting ourselves. So now he became Adeo Loco, the crown of the small caps, the king of the small caps. Listen, this old dude begins with, let us wake up with bracelets around our wrists and ankles. Let us walk with bracelets around our wrists and ankles. The way the way a person with bracelet walks is the way the bracelets were claimed together. When our ori is aligned and when we're moving towards our highest destiny, our blessings will make a sound into the world. And that's the sound of E-Ray. This El Dude teaches us what silence E-Ray. All these different narratives in his story. It shows us what silence the sounds of E-Ray. Thinking small, wearing small caps, entertaining other people's business, exposing others' weakness, but don't want to work on our own. Don't want to mind our own taboos. That was silence the sounds of a ray. So as we close, let us remember in closing, let's celebrate Ifa. Celebrate Ifa. And everywhere we go, it's Ifa to the world. We don't have to wear small caps. It's okay to have big thoughts. It's okay to have big inspirations. It's okay for people to say that they think you all that. We're not talking about being arrogant, but we're talking about knowing your place and fulfilling your destiny. Let us not limit ourselves, but let's move with that authority of Ifa. And it's not okay to try to please and socialize with people who wear small caps. That's 2026. But we trying to please people who have small caps. It's okay to smack them up verbally and let them know, hey, listen, be respectful. We don't have to be respectful. You can be respectful. We ain't on that. It's okay. Nah, you thinking in a box. Ifa will provide. It's okay. Let us wake up with bracelets around our wrists and ankles. Let us walk with bracelets around our wrists and ankles. The way a bracelet, the way someone with a bracelet walks, that's the way bracelets will cling together. When we are properly aligned with our ori, our destiny should make big sound. It should make a sound the world can hear and the world cannot deny. They will wonder, how's these people moving? How these people there? And guess what? It's not like that, but it's like that because we're not complaining. The same problems everyone else have, we have. Welcome to the real world. But guess what? We ain't saying we know what we worth and we're gonna move how we worth. And that's the bottom line. And that's the sound of E-Ray. Like always, let us salute Arumala, Iba Arumala, Ajana Okaren, Kukuru, Keo Kite. We salute Eshu Mojuba O. The smallest Baba. Eshu, we salute you, Mojuba O. To anyone to maintain wealth, they must give a shoe is due. For anyone to maintain Ere Bobo, for anyone to play the sound of Ere, one must salute a shoe. Gegele. If death is coming for us, please place us on top to overcome it. Gegele. If affliction, contention, or loss is coming for us, Gegele, please place us on top to overcome it. The day we see be is the day it would disappear. Gegele, if abundance, wealth, and all great things are coming for us, please carry us there to claim our blessings. The day we see E-Ray is the day it will be accepted. Ojori Bini Biwole is Jori Rainy Ray Day. Ashetable, Arutable, Asatable, Arriba Tushe. So